If your wife is pulling away right now and Valentine's Day is coming up, you're probably thinking one thing. Maybe this is my shot. Maybe the right gift, right dinner will finally break through. Brother, I need you to hear me. That move could push her further away than she already is. And I'm going to show you exactly what to do instead. My name is Noah Allen, and I help high-achieving men rebuild trust, save their marriage using the Heroic Husband method. And today we're talking about the holiday that destroys more struggling marriages than almost any other. Not because of what happens, but because of what men do out of desperation. So stay with me, because what I'm about to share could be the difference between pulling her closer and losing her for good. Let's start with the truth. Nobody wants to say out loud, Valentine's Day is pressure. It's an entire holiday built on expectation. And when your wife is emotionally checked out, when she's cold, when she barely looks at you, when you feel invisible in your own home, that pressure becomes a trap. Because here's what most men do. They go big. They book a fancy restaurant. They buy expensive jewelry. They write the long letter pouring out their heart. And they hand it all to her with this look in her eyes that says, please come back to me. Now I get it. I was there before too. You love this woman. You want her to feel it. But think about it like this. Imagine a business partner who hasn't returned your calls in 3 months. They've gone silent. They've told mutual friends they're thinking about walking away from the deal. And then one random day, you show up at their office with a fruit basket and a handwritten note saying, I really value this partnership. What would that look like to them? It wouldn't look like leadership. It would look like panic, and it would feel like pressure. And that's exactly how your wife experiences big Valentine's gestures. When she's already pulling away, she doesn't see love. She sees desperation. And desperation is the opposite of what attracts her. So here's point number 1. Stop trying to use the holiday to fix what's broken. Valentine's Day is not a Hail Mary pass. And if you use it as one, that's a lot of pressure. It's not your chance to win her back with one grand gesture. Think about what's actually happening inside of her right now. She's been feeling unsafe, maybe for months, maybe for years. Her nervous system has been on high alert. She's been silently asking herself, can I trust this man with my heart again? And when you come in with roses and reservations and the desperate energy behind it all, her nervous system doesn't relax, it tightens. Because she knows this isn't real change, it's performance. It's what I call a cage disguised as a nest. You think you're creating warmth, but she feels trapped. She feels like you're doing all of this not because you actually changed, but because you want her to say, I love you, and mean it. And when she feels that pull, that expectation underneath, the gift and the dinner, that she retreats even further. Because to her, pressure equals danger. And the thing causing her the most pressure right now might actually be you. Not because you're a bad man, but because you haven't learned how to lead without grasping. Let me give you a picture of what this looks like. Imagine a guy named Marcus. He runs a logistic company, 7 figures a year. Sharp mind, decisive. His team respects him. His clients trust him, but at home, his wife barely makes eye contact anymore. Valentine's Day is coming up, and Marcus does what every driven man does. He goes into fix-it mode. He books a 5-star restaurant. He buys a diamond bracelet. He even writes a poem, something he hasn't done since they were dating. And on that night, he pulls it out, all right there. Candles on the table, the works. She sits across from him, looks at the bracelet, reads the poem, and she says, thank you. But her eyes are empty. There's no spark. There's no warmth. And Marcus sits there, watching her politely eat, knowing deep down that none of it landed. Because the problem was never the gift. The problem was that she doesn't feel safe with him. And no amount of diamonds fixes that. Marcus was treating the surface symptoms, but the bleeding point underneath the real wound hadn't been touched. That's what most men miss. Now, if this is hitting home, if you're sitting there realizing that everything you've been doing has been pushing her away and not pulling her closer, then I want you to know something. You're not broken. You just haven't had the right strategy. Most men in your position, high-performing men, guys running businesses, leading teams, making serious money, They come home and they have zero framework for this. They try therapy, it doesn't stick. They try giving space, she drifts further. They try being nicer, she doesn't even notice. That's because none of those things address the real wound underneath, what I call the bleeding point. That's exactly what I help men identify and heal inside the Heroic Husband Method. If you want to know what your specific bleeding point is and how to start rebuilding emotional safety with your wife, there's a link in the description to book a call with my team. It's a free consultation, no pressure, just clarity. Now, let me get back to this because point number 2 is where everything shifts. Here's what to actually do on Valentine's Day when she's pulling away. You lead with calm, not with a gesture, not with a gift, with presence. Let me paint this picture for you. Think about a lighthouse in the middle of a storm. The waves are crashing, the wind is screaming, the sky is dark, and that lighthouse doesn't chase the ships. It doesn't swim out into the ocean, begging the boats to come closer. It just stands there, solid, grounded. It's light, shining steady, and the ships come to it, not because it forced them, but because it was the one thing that felt safe in the middle of the chaos. That's your job on Valentine's Day. Be the lighthouse, not the guy chasing the ship. So what does that look like in real life? It means that you don't ignore the day. You don't pretend it doesn't exist. That's passive. That's avoidance. And she feels that too. Instead, you acknowledge it simply and without expectation, something small, a card that says something real, not a 10-page love letter begging her to come back. Something like, I know these things aren't easy right now. I just want you to know I'm not going anywhere. That's it. Short, grounded, no agenda, no pressure for a response, no waiting by the phone to see if she texts back with a heart emoji. You say what you mean, you back it with how you've been showing up, and then you let it breathe. See, most men get this backwards. They think the words are what matter. They think if they just find the right thing to say, she'll come back. But she's not listening to your words anymore. She's reading your energy. She's watching your behavior. She's asking herself, is this man safe? Is this man consistent? Or is this another performance that disappears by next Tuesday? Think about it like a bank account. Right now, your emotion trust account with her is probably overdrawn. You've been making withdrawals for months, maybe even years without even realizing it. Every time you got defensive, that was a withdrawal. Every time you pressure her to talk before she was ready, withdrawal. Every time you say that you change and went back to the old patterns within a week, massive withdrawal. One Valentine's Day dinner doesn't fix an overdrawn account. That's like depositing $20 into a $100,000 debt and expecting the bank to forgive everything else. It doesn't work that way. What rebuilds that account is small, consistent deposits over time. It's how you show up on a random Wednesday morning. It's whether you stay calm when she's making a sharp comment at the dinner table. It's what you do when the kids are in bed and she walks past you without a word. Do you chase her? Do you sulk? Or do you stay centered and let her have her space without making it mean she doesn't love you? That right there is a deposit. It's small. It doesn't feel like much, but she notices. She always notices because she's not watching your big moves. She's watching the small, consistent ones. It's the 364 days that aren't Valentine's Day that actually tell her whether you've changed. And that brings me to point number 3. The most important thing that you can do right now is to lead yourself first. Most men walk into Valentine's Day focusing entirely on her. What should I get her? What should I say? How do I make her feel loved? But I understand that instinct and I get it. Look, but here's the problem with that. When you focus on her reaction, you're not leading, you're performing, you're reacting, not being responsive. And she can feel the difference. Real leadership on a day like Valentine's Day starts with checking in with yourself first. Where is my energy right now? Am I grounded or am I anxious? Am I showing up for strength or am I showing up from fear? Because here's what happens when you come from fear. You hover, you overdo, and you watch her face for every micro expression. You analyze every word she says, looking for a sign that it's working. And all of that energy, that anxious hovering energy, she feels it. It makes her feel like she's been managed, not loved. But when you come from a grounded place, something different happens. You walk into that room and the temperature changes. Not because you said anything magical, but because your energy is different. You're not grasping, you're not chasing, you're not waiting for her to validate you. You're solid in who you are. And that solidity is the most attractive thing a man can bring to a broken moment. Let me tell you what happens when a man actually does this. When he stops chasing and starts leading himself. At first, nothing changes. She's still cold, she's still distant, and every part of him is screaming, do something, fix this, say something. But he holds, he stays grounded, he keeps showing up the same way every single day. Not because he's performing, but because he's becoming a different man. And slowly, over days, sometimes weeks, she starts to notice. She doesn't say anything at first. She just watches, she's testing. She's waiting to see if this version of you is going to stick or if it's going to collapse. The moment that she pushes back, and when you hold, when you stay calm, when you don't crumble under the heat, under her test, something shifts inside of her. Her nervous system starts to settle. She starts to think, maybe this is real. Maybe he's actually different. That's the beginning of trust. Not trust because of what you say, trust because of what she felt in your presence. And you cannot rush that. You cannot buy that with a Valentine's dinner. You can only earn it through consistent, grounded leadership. Think about it like this. A thermostat and a thermometer look almost the same on the wall, but they do completely different things. A thermometer just reacts. The temperature goes up, it goes up. The temperature drops, it drops. It has no control. It just reflects whatever's happening around it. A thermostat sets the temperature. It decides what the room is going to feel like. And no matter what's happening outside, it holds that setting. Most men in a struggling marriage are thermometers. Their wife is cold, they go cold. She's upset, they get upset. She pulls away, they chase harder. But a man who leads is a thermostat. He sets the emotional temperature in his home. He stays warm even when she's freezing. He stays calm even when she's sharp. He stays present even when she's checked out. And over time, she starts to feel that steady warmth. She starts to notice that this man isn't reacting like the old version. Something has shifted. And that's when the real door opens. Not because of Valentine's Day, but because of who you've becoming every single day before it. Now let me bring this all together. If your wife is pulling away and Valentine's Day is staring you in the face, here's what I need you to remember. 1. Don't use a holiday as a rescue mission. Grand gestures from a place of desperation feel like pressure to her, and pressure pushes her further away. 2. Lead with calm presence, not with performance. A small, genuine acknowledgement with zero expectation goes further than a $1,000 dinner with strings attached. 3. Focus on yourself first. Your energy sets the tone. Be the thermostat, not the thermometer. When you are grounded, she will notice. Maybe not today, maybe not this week, but consistent, calm leadership is what rebuilds what words alone never could. And here's the thing most men miss. The real transformation doesn't happen on Valentine's Day. It happens in the 364 days around it. It happens when you learn to identify the real wounds underneath the surface symptoms, what I call the bleeding points. It happens when you stop reacting to her mood and start leading with emotional leadership. It happens when you build a framework for how to show up every single day with consistency and strength instead of guessing and hoping something clicks. That's what the heroic husband method is designed to do. It's not therapy. It's not couples counseling. It's a precision strategy built for high-performing men who are done guessing and ready to lead. Inside the method, I walk men through what I call is the emotional layering protocol. It builds on 3 stages: healing, shifting, and bonding. Each stage is designed to rebuild what's broken in a specific order because that order matters. Most men try to bond before they healed. They try to connect before they shifted, and it backfires every single time. If you're watching this and something in your gut is telling you, this is what I've been missing, then I want you to take one step today. Click that link in the description below, book a clarity call with my team. We'll help you figure out exactly where you are and what's going on underneath the surface. No pressure, no sales pitch, just a conversation between men who get it. Because here's what I know about men like you. You didn't get to where you are in business by guessing. You got there with a strategy, with precision, with a plan. Your marriage deserves the same level of commitment. And the fact that you're still here watching this video tells me you haven't given up. That matters more than you realize right now. And before you go, do one more favor. If this video hit home, drop a comment below. Tell me where you are in your marriage right now. I read every single one. Hit subscribe because I put out content every week to help men like you take the lead in your marriage and in your life. Share this video with someone you might know who's going through this struggle, because that's how we reach more people and help them get the message that they need and the help that they need. You don't have to figure this out alone, brother, and I'll see you in the next video.